Joan Vassos details her and Chock's journey as weirdness. Joan Vassos knows her relationship with Chock Chapel is unique. They met on a dating show and got engaged after knowing each other for just a few weeks. She opened up about how weird the journey is and why they aren't in a rush to marry. Joan Vassos details her and Chock's journey as weirdness. The Bachelor franchise takes a unique approach to dating and marriage. The lead dates multiple people at once and hopes at least one of them is compatible in the long run. While the show doesn't require an engagement at the end, it's what fans expect. After 2 decades of featuring people in their 20s and 30s, the show finally gave the older generation a second chance at love. Jerry Turner was ABC's first Golden Bachelor. Joan Vassos was a contestant but left the show early due to a family matter. However, she was tapped to be the first ever Golden Bachelorette. After a few weeks of handing out roses, she gave Chock Chapel her final one. They got engaged during the season finale. In a new interview with Us Weekly, Joan Vassos said that viewers saw it all on TV, but don't really know what it's like to be in the environment of the dating show. It's important that people recognize that it's a very weird journey that you go on when you do The Bachelor. You take a leap of faith right at the end, Joan said about her engagement to Chock Chapel. She added, "You're taking a leap of faith, and then you go out and you start dating them, and that dating takes a little bit of time. Why they're not rushing into marriage." Joan Vassos and Chock Chapel are still in the early dating stages. Despite being engaged, they don't live together. They don't even live in the same state. They have completely separate lives but get together when they can. But fans are constantly asking her when they will marry. But tying the knot is the last thing on their minds right now. Joan explained, "We're spending time getting to know each other even more. There's no rush. I don't have a biological clock. I'm over that. I have 4 kids. It does add to the whole element of it. We're not dying to build a house together. We both have homes. We have all those things that we're not worried about doing." Golden Bachelorette responds to critics questioning relationship. Joan and Chock are grateful for the Golden Bachelorette experience and the opportunities it has given them. She was the guest bartender on a recent episode of Bravo's Watch What Happens Live. But one downside of the show is the focus from fans on when the couple will marry. Joan Vassos had a message for the fans. She said, "We're just having fun being together. I want to say, let us be together. Let's just have fun and date." She added, "We will get married, but we are not ready to plan a wedding out." Joan Vassos never expected to be the face of a revolution, let alone in sequins and stilettos. But at 61, the poised widow and mom of 4 found herself smack dab in the middle of reality, TV's latest experiment, The Golden Bachelorette. A spin-off of The Golden Bachelor, which already shattered age stereotypes and tugged at America's heartstrings. This season placed Joan in the spotlight, handing her the coveted rose duties and a mansion full of silver-haired suitors. And now, Joan's pulling back the curtain on her surreal experience, a journey that was, in her words, chock full of weirdness, love, and very questionable karaoke. "I didn't even know I packed that dress. The journey started innocently enough," she said, with a suitcase full of neatly folded outfits and 0 expectations. "The producers kept telling me to pack for every occasion, hiking, beach days, cocktail parties, you name it," Joan shared in a candid sit-down. "Somewhere along the way, I think I blacked out and packed a neon jumpsuit I hadn't worn since 1987. That jumpsuit made a surprise appearance on a group date themed Rewind Romance, where each contestant had to dress like the decade they fell in love the first time. That challenge was weird," Joan laughed, "but it was also oddly emotional. I wore shoulder pads. One man showed up in a mullet wig and broke into tears remembering his first wife. I was wooed by a man on a unicycle. Reality TV has always been known for its dramatic flair, but Joan confessed nothing prepared her for the variety of grand gestures that the show's men brought to the table. Week 1, a man rode in on a unicycle while juggling apples. Joan said, still bewildered. He said it symbolized balance in a relationship. I was like, I don't even like apples. Then there was the guy who baked her a loaf of banana bread, with a rose baked in the middle, like some weird love muffin surprise. And the contestant who serenaded her with a ukulele rendition of
they weren't sweet,
whisper. Joan clarified. But sometimes I felt like I was in an alternate universe where The Bachelor collided with a county fair. Cameras catch everything, even bathroom dance breaks. Joan also opened up about the lack of privacy on set. There were cameras everywhere. Like everywhere, she emphasized. One night, I thought I had a moment alone, so I danced to Beyoncé in the bathroom mirror. Full single ladies choreography. The next day, a producer complimented my shoulder shimmy. She paused. I still don't know whether to be flattered or horrified. That constant surveillance created plenty of bizarre moments. You think you're whispering your thoughts to yourself, but it turns out you're micked, and suddenly it's part of a confessional segment. At one point, she absent-mindedly called a man by her dog's name during a rose ceremony. The look on his face, I thought I'd ruined everything. But he laughed, and he actually made it to the final 4. The jacuzzi incident. Yes, that was real. Ah, yes, the infamous jacuzzi night, which viewers are already calling the most awkward moment in Golden Bachelorette history. Joan recounted it with both a blush and a giggle. We were supposed to have a romantic dip, champagne and all. What they didn't tell me was that the jets were broken, and someone accidentally made the water boiling hot. Joan dipped a toe, screamed, and promptly slipped. So there I am, sitting on the edge with wet hair, a soggy rose, and my Spanx halfway visible. And the guy still tried to kiss me. She leaned back with a laugh. That's how you know it's real. He was willing to burn for me. I did not expect to cry over that much toast. Perhaps the weirdest moment of all was during a breakfast in bed date challenge, which unexpectedly turned into a therapy session. One guy brought me avocado toast and said he'd never made it for anyone before. He got choked up. I got choked up. Next thing I know, I'm sobbing over a plate of slightly burnt bread. It was beautiful and bizarre. Joan shared that the depth of emotion from the men on the show shocked her. These weren't 20-something guys looking for Instagram deals. These were men who had lived, lost, loved, and rebuilt. There was wisdom in their heartbreak. Yes, I fell in love, but not how you think. When asked if she found love, Joan paused for a long moment. Yes, she finally said, a mysterious smile playing at the edges of her lips. But not in the way I thought I would. She admitted there were sparks, real ones, with more than one contestant. One man reminded me of my late husband's humor, another of his gentleness. They all helped me remember who I was before grief made me feel invisible. In the final episode, Joan made an unconventional choice. She didn't pick just one man. Instead, she asked 2 finalists to join her in a slow courtship pact. No proposal, no pressure. Just real-world dating without rose ceremonies and hot tubs. What you didn't see on camera. Joan revealed that some of her favorite moments never made it to air. Late-night chats with the guys about raising teenagers. Quiet coffee mornings before the crew started filming. Dancing barefoot on the mansion patio after everyone went to bed. And then there were the quirky traditions the cast developed. Every Friday, we had unofficial karaoke night in the kitchen. One guy only sang Elvis. Another made a killer mocktail he called Golden Juice. We bonded in the weirdest, most wonderful ways. What's next for Joan? Post-show, Joan says she's not going back to regular life. I realized I'm not done living boldly. I may write a book. Maybe start a podcast for women in their 60s rediscovering themselves. And as for that infamous jumpsuit, I'm keeping it, she laughed. It's seen things. We've bonded. In true Golden Bachelorette fashion, Joan Vassos has taken weirdness and turned it into something magical. A reminder that love, laughter, and a little awkward dancing never go out of style.